fantasy short stories. Time Heals by Andrew Newall. Jennings' fingers impatiently kneaded away at his chin through a neatly trimmed silver beard as his eyes remained locked on Carolyn. The well-respected head of the Department of Scientific Research lay slumped across his desk, twitching. Blood trailed its way from her head wound to his paperwork, his laptop, her pendant necklace lying on the desk, and the paperweight he used to hit her. All staff had finished for the day. He and Carolyn were alone. He waited and watched. The only sound in his office was his own anxious breathing reverberating from each wall, taunting, reminding him of what he had just done. Now the scientist's head flooded with thoughts of how she supported him through his years of research, her photographic memory a godsend on many occasions. As the longest-serving scientist, the eccentric Jennings wanted the respect from his peers that he used to have before his project consumed him. Time travel was impossible, they all told him. Not time travel, he would correct them. Time reversal, manipulating its very movement in such a way as to turn back the minutes, the hours, even the years. When Carolyn was appointed the position of his superior and he discovered her love of his work, his ego was recharged. She seemed curiously drawn to Jennings' atmosphere and his peculiar work, as though she wanted to be there at the culmination of a lifetime of comic books, science fiction magazines, physics education, growing into actual science experimentation. Jennings reveled in Carolyn's attention, and with her gift, he never needed to worry about losing any scrawled calculations. However, that very morning, Jennings discovered that he in fact had little time left. Carolyn announced that the board were stopping his funding amid rumors of dismissal for wasting time on fantasies. "I need one more chance. If you could just explain to them," he pleaded. "I'm really sorry, Gil. They've made up their minds. This is totally outside my control." "Carolyn, I've hit on it. The missing factor in my research. The answer has been in front of me all this time, and I never noticed." "Okay, what is it?" she asked half-heartedly. "Not right now. This needs a demonstration, not words. Meet me here this evening after everyone's left, and I'll show you." "One last time," she conceded. "That's all I can promise." That was all Jennings needed. He had everything planned, including a pompous email he compiled while waiting for Carolyn to arrive, addressed to all interested parties in the department. The send button was pressed, and the laptop lid closed as he heard her footsteps clicking their way towards his office. It was straight to business when Carolyn entered, declining his offer of a coffee, usually accepted. Not even a cup of water. "Not thirsty?" he asked. "No thanks, Gil. Let's just talk about what you found." They sat silently on opposite sides of his desk, him looking into the face of the one person he trusted, her staring back at a soon-to-be ex-employee. "Before I start, can I borrow your necklace?" The twitching stopped. His test had failed. Carolyn was dead. All thoughts of her downsized to memories in the seconds it took her to die, and he, the self-proclaimed genius, always on the brink of that scientific groundbreaking discovery, cried like a baby, teeth gnawing on knuckle. Someone must have read that email by now. "My dear so-called colleagues, our head of department, Carolyn Moss, has informed me that your intention is to withdraw funding from my time reversal project. I am sending you all this email because I passionately believe that I have finally made my breakthrough. Looking back, I have concentrated too much on the magnitude of time itself. My latest findings suggest that one has one's own individual Earth's rotation, and this can be altered. I have asked Miss Moss to meet me at my office this evening to discuss this. I believe her unique attribute will be key to my latest theory. A person with a photographic memory can recreate writings, photographs, or even film almost exactly as it happened. Using my film theory, they can play this footage normally, or, if they choose, they can play it in reverse. My theory is that playing this film in reverse in their head will rewind their very physical being simultaneously. My intention is to place Miss Moss under hypnosis. I will instruct her to play, in her mind, a piece of film. I will then ask her to rewind this film. As she does so, I will inflict a potentially fatal blow to her head. I fully expect that with Miss Moss's mind in a state of reverse, her body will also reverse the damage caused by my attack. Should my experiment fail, resulting in her death, the department shall consider this email as acceptance of my actions and my guilt. Should it succeed, I wish for you to reconsider your decision with regards to my funding and for each of you to send in writing an apology to myself and Miss Moss. Sincerely, Dr. Gil Jennings. His gut jerked at every sentence. He threw himself down on the table, head in one arm, the other reaching out over Carolyn's back. Everything was ruined. He wanted to die with her. Something made his hand flinch. Carolyn's body started tiny spasms, then barely audible whimpering. He wiped his eyes frantically, peering through tear clouds. Blood began to trickle from the paperweight, across the pendant necklace, his laptop and paperwork leaving behind a path of nothing as it meandered its way back home, and her head wound started to close. Jennings thumped his desk, gripping his hair while cursing his department in wicked delight. Uncontrollable crying morphed into maniacal laughter as his despair became sheer joy, as Carolyn groaned in pain, which would soon pass. He fetched her a cup of water from the dispenser. Andrew Newall is from Scotland, and he hopes you enjoyed listening to Time Heals. Tall Tale TV also adapted another 2 of his stories, Misterioso and Writer's Block. Since then, his work has appeared online in the magazines Fictional Cafe and Kinda Weird, with comic strips published in Oddball Magazine. Time Heals is a flash fiction piece which first appeared in the magazine Theme of Absence back in 2021. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. Definitely one of the more unique versions of time travel I've had submitted. But, I mean, is it any wilder than having to go at 85 miles an hour with 1.21 gigawatts being injected into a flux capacitor? Nah. As Andrew Newall mentioned, he's been on Tall Tale TV twice before, and he's got another one coming up probably in about a month. We'll see where I can fit it in. But if you'd like to listen to those, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description to where you can find his other works. Oh, and in other news, I have been trying to respond to comments a lot more on YouTube, and of course, right as I start doing that, YouTube broke. I have no idea what's going on. I can't see my comments. So I'm trying to figure that out. Until I get it figured, it might be a little bit before anybody hears from me on there. Sorry, I have no idea what's going on. The back end just says something happened, and that's as far as I can get. Between that and all 3 computers in my household having issues all in the same week, it just things have not been going the way I've been wanting them. But that's all right. I'm getting there. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this story, be sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're listening to the podcast version, be sure to subscribe for more brand new short stories. I'm Chris Herron, and that's it for today's Tall Tale TV.